Do all in the name of the Adon Hamashiach, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by him.
Right. Whatever you do in word or deed, make sure you're doing them consistently, in accordance to the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, and the teaching of Hamashiach Yahweh. Right? And that's exactly what we endeavor to do, to bring our people out of the teachings of the world, to bring them out of the conformity of the world and bring them back to the heritage, the true nationality, and the teachings of the Most High, which he gave to Israel. Give me Romans chapter 12.
The book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service.
Right. We beseech you, brethren and sisters, by the mercies of the Most High, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. Which is your reasonable service. It's reasonable for you to present yourself as a living sacrifice unto the Most High. Because the Most High, the Most High requires us to serve him. That's why the Most High created us. Our duty as Hebrew Israelites is to serve the Most High through the Mashiach Yahweh. But instead we find ourselves what? Doing things which are not pleasing to the Most High. Caught up in the religion and doctrines which we see the other nations are practicing. So we got seduced by that. Read on.
Verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
See, and be not conformed to this world, because right now our people are conformed to this world. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed. What does transformation mean? It means you're moving away from one state and there's changing to another state, and then a mindset, and a state of mind. But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's why the scripture says you got to be born again. Give me that now, John chapter 3. Just to give you an idea what the Mashiach Yahweh meant when it says you have to be born again. But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. You know what? That old man, that state of mind you previously had, which was conforming to the doctrines and philosophies of the world, man, that has to be killed. Got it?
The book of John, chapter 3 and verse 3. Hamashiach answered and said unto him, Verily, verily I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of the Most High.
See, yeah, that's why the Mashiach Yahweh himself said that. And that's to Nicodemus and the Israelites and to us. Because what was written aforetime was written for what? Our learning today. Verily, verily. Read it again.
The book of John, chapter 3 and verse 3. Hamashiach answered and said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of the Most High.
Except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of the Most High. Doesn't mean that literally going to be born again. It just simply mean that what? You have to renew your mind. That mindset you had previously, man, which was, susceptible to sin. Accepting, what you see going on around you. and be willing to be a part of it, you have to put away that mindset. Transform your mind. You have to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Read on, read.
Verse 6. That which is born of the flesh. No, verse 4. Nicodemus saith unto him, how can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born? Hamashiach answered, verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of the Most High.
Right, see, you got to transform. Look at the transformation process that take place. Understand? Renew your mind. The Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, and what? The teaching of the Mashiach Yahushua. I'll go back to
the book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High.
Right, and that's the only way you're going to that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. That's study to show yourself approved. Understand? So you study the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, and renew your mind. That's how you're going to prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. That's when you're on track in doing the will of the Most High. Now give me Romans 10, chapter 1.
The book of Romans, chapter 10 and verse 1. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to the Most High for Israel is.
This is Paul. This is Paul the apostle talking to his fellow Israelites. Read it again from the top.
The book of Romans, chapter 10 and verse 1. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to the Most High for Israel is that they might be saved.
So that Paul's desire and prayer to the Most High for Israel is that they might be saved. That's how much Paul loved his people, man. He prayed, incessantly, without ceasing. Didn't take a break. I just prayed on behalf of Israel. That what that Israel might be saved. Read on.
Verse 2. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High.
See, Paul bear them record, so he got a record. He recognized. You saw an indication of Israel having what? The zeal of the Most High. They love the Most High. They want to serve the Most High. They are aware that there's a power. You are aware of the Most High. But there was a disconnect between them and the Most High, because to serve the Most High, you have to follow protocols. You can't serve the Most High according to your own way. That's why the Most High gave us laws, statutes, and commandments to follow. But because there are so many different religions now, which our people are caught up into, they want to serve the Most High, but what? They're not being taught by the people who know how to serve the Most High. Read on.
But not according to knowledge.
I read the topic in verse 2.
The book of Romans, chapter 10 and verse 2. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge.
They have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge. They haven't got the knowledge of the Most High. They haven't even got knowledge of their nationality. Huh? Go ahead.
The book of Malachi, chapter 2 and verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge.
Yeah, the priest's lips should keep knowledge. Understand? Because the priests are the one of the Most High, gave the laws, statutes, and commandments to for them to distribute that information throughout the nation. But if the priests haven't got knowledge, hey, how are the people going to learn? You know?
And they should seek the law at his mouth.
Right, and they, the children of Israel, should seek the law at the priest's mouth. That's why we make it easy for our people, man. We got social media, plus we go to the streets to teach our people. We got a school set up that the Most High bless us with for people to come here just about every day of the week to learn the nationality, to learn how to praise the Most High, how to serve the Most High. But they're not taking advantage of it. Read.
4. And they should seek the law at his mouth, for he is the messenger of the power of hosts.
Right, they should see the law at his mouth because what? They're the messenger of the Most High. Understand? They're the one, back in the days, that's how it was. But the Most High, give information to the priests, to the prophets, to teach the people. Give me Hebrews 1 also.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 1 and verse 1. The Most High, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets.
Right, in sundry times and diverse manners, in various occasions, various eras of time, and diverse in different ways, spoke unto us by the prophets. Understand the Most High, that's why you have all these prophets are reading about them. Jeremiah, Isaiah, Ezekiel, Malachi, Elijah. All those are our prophets that the Most High set up throughout Israel, the history of Israel, to edify the people, let the people know what the Most High wants them to do and what the Most High has in store for Israel. Read on.
Hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he hath appointed heir of all things.
Right. In these last days, spoken to us by his Son. Who's the Son? The Mashiach Yahushua, whom he appointed heir of all things. Understand? So that's like the Most High the prophets and the Most High the Mashiach Yahushua too. That's why we're reading Colossians 3:17. We gotta worship the Most High according to the laws, statutes, and commandments, and the teaching of the Mashiach Yahushua. No more?
By whom also he made the worlds.
All right. So go back to Romans 10, and read verse 3. Read 2 and again, and go into verse 3.
Yes, sir. The book of Romans, chapter 10 and verse 2. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge.
You have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge, because they're not getting the knowledge of the Most High. Because the people who they look up to teach them haven't got the knowledge. And those people teach them lies. And those lies we're going to break down today. Some of those lies we're going to break down today. Because like, lies upon lies upon lies. Every so-called season, there's some major lies that we have to break down. Read on.
For they being ignorant of the Most High's righteousness.
For they being ignorant of the Most High's righteousness. They don't understand what righteousness of the Most High entails. What does it consist of? Read on.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commitments before the Most High our power, as he hath commanded us.
That's our righteousness if we observe to do all the commandments of the Most High, as he appointed us. That's our righteousness right there. The Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. But our people don't know that because they've been told that what the laws are done away with. And now they can, just believe. Just believe in Christ. And that's it. But Christ said, none of the laws are done away with. We don't know about the sacrificial law. That's about it. Go back to Romans.
The book of Romans, chapter 10 and verse 3. For they, being ignorant of the Most High's righteousness,
the laws, statutes, and commandments, and the Mashiach Yahushua,
and going about to establish their own righteousness,
that's why our people caught up in the Easter. That's why people even us looking forward to Sunday for what they call it Easter Sunday. That's why tonight, Friday, which is the
Good Friday.
Right, which is to us Hebrew Israelites, it's a Sabbath.
Yep.
But to our people and the heathens out there, it's a so-called, they call it Good Friday. Why? Because what? They haven't got the righteousness of the Most High. They haven't got the righteousness according to knowledge. If they had the righteousness according to knowledge, they should know that there's no such thing as Easter. That this old Easter tradition is something deeply embedded in the pagan roots, the history in pagan roots. They should know that what they should really be observing is Passover, which we just at about a week or so ago. But they don't know that because what? They haven't got the righteousness according to knowledge. They get the righteousness from people whose duty is to lie to them, to lead them astray. Is there more?
Yes, sir. For they being ignorant of the Most High's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness.
That's what they did when they push aside Passover and then they do what? Set up Easter. That's what they did. That's what they did that's what they caught up into right now when they do not celebrate the Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, and instead they want to celebrate Easter, eating leaven. Read on.
Have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of the Most High.
And they have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of the Most High. So we are here to help bring them back to the righteousness of the Most High. And it's because some of the major lies going around right now is about so-called Good Friday. They say that's when the Mashiach, that's when Christ was crucified on the Friday. And they say that he rose on Sunday, which is Easter, which is also called Easter Sunday. And we're gonna prove the fallacy of that those are lies. Now get me Matthew 12, verse 38.
The book of Matthew, chapter 12 and verse 38. Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee.
Right, that's what the scribes and the Pharisees asked of Yahushua. Master, we want to see a sign from you. We want to see a sign from you that you are the Son of the Most High. Because they see the Mashiach Yahushua, going around teaching the people, and people acknowledging him as the Son of the Most High, but the Pharisees and the scribes and the Pharisees was always contesting that is authority. So they want to see a sign from the Mashiach Yahushua. Read on.
But he answered and said unto them, An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas.
And Yahweh shall answer them and said, an evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, but there shall no sign be given to it but the sign of the prophet Jonas. Yahweh shall said that this evil and adulterous people are always looking for a sign. The only sign I'm going to give you is the sign of the prophet Jonas. Now, what is the sign of the prophet Jonas? Read on.
The book of Matthew, chapter 12 and verse 40. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly.
And we all know the story of that of Jonah, a prophet of the Most High, and the Most High sent to go to Nineveh, to teach the Israelites in Nineveh. He was reluctant, disobedient to the Most High, and I got thrown overboard on a ship, and had spent 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly. Okay, so the Mashiach Yahushua is referencing that incident with Jonah spent 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, read on.
So shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth.
So shall the Son of Man, Yahushua himself, be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. That's how long he's going to stay buried. Read on.
The men of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonas, and behold, a greater than Jonas is here.
Right. So Yahweh shall let me know. Okay. The only sign that you should be aware of is that I'm going to be in the earth 3 days and 3 nights. Okay. Now get me Matthew 27.
The book of Matthew.
Start from verse 38.
The book of Matthew, chapter 27 and verse 38. Then were the 2 thieves crucified with him, and one on the right hand and another on the left. And they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads, and saying, Thou that destroyest the temple, and buildest it in 3 days, save thyself.
Yeah, because because they know that the Yahweh, that's what Mashiach Yahweh had told the Pharisees. Thou that destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself. Read on.
If thou be the Son of the Most High, come down from the cross. Likewise also the chief priests, mocking him with the scribes and elders, said, He saved others, himself he cannot save. If he be the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in the Most High. Let him deliver him now, if he will save him. For he said, I am the Son of the Most High.
So they were making a mockery of the Mashiach Yahushua. They were being scorners and scoffers, laughing at the Mashiach Yahushua. See, he said, you're the Son of the Most High, right? So save yourself. Have the Most High save you. You say you save others, why can't you save yourself? They were being simple to not understand that this was a prophecy that had to be fulfilled. Read on.
The thieves also, which were crucified with him, cast the same in his teeth. Now, from the 6th hour, there was darkness over all the land unto the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour, Hamashiach cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is to say, my power, why hast thou forsaken me?
You know, Mashiach Yahushua, he knew that he had to do this, but he was in his last breath. So he was crying out unto the Most High. Of course, the Most High didn't forsake him. He was just fulfilling the role that he was brought on earth to perform. Read on.
Some of them that stood there, when they heard that, said, This man called for Elias. And straightway one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it on a reed and gave him to drink. The rest said, Let be, let us see whether Elias will come to save him. Hamashiach, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the spirit.
Right, so that's when Yahushua died. I read on. Just read verse 51.
Verse 51. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent.
Right, and behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom. The significance of that was a change in the priesthood. The veil of the temple being rent in twain and being torn in two. You know, signifying a change in the priesthood from the sacrificing of animals by the Levites to know Yahushua being that sacrificial lamb unto whom Israel to call upon for repentance of sins. Okay, so we see the Yahushua. Now give me Matthew 28.
The book of Matthew, chapter 28 and verse 1. In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day.
At the end of the Sabbath, so now just have a picture this now, what day of the week and all. At the end of the Sabbath, which is known as Saturday sundown, as it begin to dawn toward the first day. This is another proof that Friday is Sunday is a real Sabbath, because we know that the first day of the week is what's so-called Sunday. Okay, and at the end of the Sabbath is Saturday sundown. So in the end of the Sabbath, mean that at Saturday evening, Friday sundown. Read on.
As it began to dawn toward the first day of the week.
As it began to dawn, so the Sabbath had passed. So now it's beginning to dawn toward the first day of the week. Okay, so now so it's really now Sunday morning. I read on. It's dark and all that now. So the Sabbath ended. Saturday sundown, and now it's actually now transitioning into Sunday morning. Came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. So we just have an idea what day of the week this is. Okay, the Sabbath just ended, so now it's Sunday morning. Early Sunday, the dawn of Sunday morning. Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to see the sepulchre. Read.
And behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Most High descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it.
And there was a great earthquake, but the angel of the Most High descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it. The stone, there was a stone at the mouth of the cave where the Mashiach Yahushua was buried. Okay, and an angel came and rolled back that stone. Read.
The book of Matthew, chapter 28 and verse 3. His countenance was like lightning, and his raiment white as snow.
Right, that's the appearance of the angel. His countenance was like lightning, bright. That's a glow. That's a glow of the angel, and his raiment was white as snow. Read on.
And for fear of him, the keepers did shake, and became as dead men. And the angel answered and said unto them,
and for fear of him, the keepers did shake and became as dead men. What does that say? They fainted.
Yeah.
They became as dead men. They saw an angel. They know that wasn't a human being. Our people, whenever they saw the angel, automatically became fearful. And they became a dead man, meaning what? They fainted, you know?
Huh? Yeah, messing something about that. So pretty much this proves that the angels are not little babies with diapers, like Cupid.
God.
Because for them to faint, that means they saw power.
Like
the girl babies.
Yeah. Like yep.
Yeah, I'm saying so. I mean, so we know right there that you know the depiction of angels as we see them by the church, the little babies with wings. That's a fallacy, man. That's still ridiculous. Nobody would have fainted at the sight of a little innocent baby.
Yes, sir. Yep.
You know what I mean? So the countenance of these men have to be fierce.
Yep.
I mean, the size of them and all that, you have to look very intimidating. When you see something like that, they say that you don't know, not smiling or anything. You don't know if they come to destroy, because we have heard of all the Most High, but I mean wreak havoc on earth by the hands of the angels and all that. So they don't know if those angels came to do them hurt or what. So they just fainted.
Yes, sir.
Verse 5.
Verse 5. And the angel answered and said unto the woman, Fear ye not, for I know that ye seek Hamashiach, which was crucified.
And the angel answered and said unto them, Don't worry, I know, fear not, for I know that ye seek Hamashiach, Yahushua, which was crucified. So angel, don't worry, don't be afraid. I know why you were here. I know you come to see the Mashiach Yahushua. Interesting though, because Mary Magdalene and the other Mary, they remember what Mashiach Yahushua said.
Yes, sir.
Understand?
Yep.
You know what the Mashiach Yahushua said that he was gonna be in the earth 3 days and 3 nights.
Yep.
And they know this at this time of the day, at this time that the 3 days and 3 nights had passed. Read on.
Verse 6. He is not here, for he is risen.
He is not here, for he is risen. Read on.
As he said, Come, see the place where the other one lay, and go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead. And behold, he goeth before you into Galilee. There shall ye see him. Lo, I have told you. And they departed quickly from the sepulchre with fear and great joy, and did run to bring his disciples the word.
Right, so they departed from the sepulchre with fear. Of course, they were trembling, they were still a fearful sight, encountering an angel, and great joy at the same time, because that was a confirmation to them that the Mashiach Yahushua was indeed the Son of the Most High, and that he came to redeem Israel. And that was a confirmation to them. That was great joy to them, a great relief to them. Know that was fulfilled. That was their redemption. That confirmation of the Mashiach Yahushua being the Son of the Most High and the sacrificial lamb was a redemption to them, a great joy to them. So they ran like track stars to the disciples. Okay, but go ahead.
You know, Elder, it says here, the angel talked to the sisters. Now there is a saying that they always say that we Israelites, we hate women. And this is now basically the angel, he commissioned the sisters to go and bring this good news to the disciples.
Exactly.
So oftentimes they say that we have no use for women in the truth, which is not true. They always pretty much say that we hate women.
It's another fallacy. So I went there to first I went to show where the Mashiach Yahushua said he was going to be in the earth for 3 days and 3 nights. Right? So I went there in Matthew 28 to show when the Mashiach Yahushua resurrected. He resurrected after the Sabbath. After sundown, after the Sabbath sundown, the sundown and Sabbath to the first Sunday. So So if he resurrected at Saturday sundown, we have to, and it was going to be the earth for 3 days and 3 nights. Then we count back to find out when he was buried. Because in Israel it was a custom that when you die, they don't put you in what do they call this? A place in you get buried right away. Yeah. You get buried right away. So Yahushua raised Saturday sundown. So to find out when he died, when he died, when he was buried, we count 3 days back. Yes, sir. Right? So from Saturday, counting backwards, from Saturday sundown to Friday sundown, that's 1 day. Right? Yes, sir. From Friday sundown to counting back to Thursday sundown, that's 2 days. Yes. Counting back again from Thursday sundown to Wednesday sundown, that's 3 days. Yes, sir. So what did I tell you when the Yahushua was died? When he was buried? Wednesday sundown. Wednesday sundown. So what is Good Friday? So why did the church have it that he was buried on Friday? That's so easy to debunk. Let's just do it again. He was in the earth
for 3 days and 3 nights.
3 days and 3 nights. He resurrected at Saturday sundown, right? So to see when he was buried, we count 3 days back, right? Saturday sundown to Friday sundown, counting back as 1. Friday sundown to Thursday sundown, that's 2. Thursday sundown to Wednesday sundown, that's 3 days. So he was buried on Wednesday, not a Friday. Okay, and he resurrected Saturday sundown. So this teaching that the church got that he was buried on Friday, you know that's a lie. Get me on to Luke 23 verse 44.
The book of Luke, chapter 23 and verse 44. Luke 23 and verse 44. And it was about the 6th hour, and there was a darkness over all the earth until the 9th hour. And the sun was darkened, and the veil of the temple was rent in the midst. And when Hamashiach had cried with a loud voice, he said, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. And having said thus, he gave up the spirit. Now, when the centurion saw what was done, he glorified the Most High, saying, Certainly, this was a righteous man. And all the people that came together to that sight, beholding the things which were done, smote their breasts and returned. And all his acquaintance and the women.
When they smote the breasts, they would salute the Mashiach Yahushua.
Verse 49. And all his acquaintance and the women that followed him from Galilee stood afar off, beholding these things. And behold, there was a man named Joseph, a counselor, and he was a good man and a just. The same had not consented to the counsel and deed of them. He was of Arimathea, a city of the Jews, who also himself waited for the kingdom of the Most High. This man went into Pilate and begged the body of Hamashiach. And he took it down and wrapped it in linen and laid it in a sepulchre that was hewn in stone, wherein never man before was laid. And that day was the preparation, and the Sabbath drew on. And the women also, which came with him from Galilee, followed after, and beheld the sepulchre, and how his body.
Right. So that's how they got the Mashiach's body, and wrapped it in linen, and then Mashiach Yahushua was buried in the cave area, which they covered with stone. Okay, so we just read right there how Mashiach Yahushua raised up Sabbath, sundown after Sabbath. So coming back 3 days, we saw with a shadow of a doubt that he was buried on a Wednesday sundown. Okay, so that just a fallacy right there about him being buried on Good Friday and raised in Sunday. Okay, so that's only 2 days. That's only 2 days. Okay. Also another thing that what people get caught up into, or people have found themselves conforming to, is what? It's Easter. Give me Acts right away. Give me Acts chapter 12.
Yes, sir. The book of Acts, chapter 12 and verse 1. Now about
as a matter of fact, just give me John 19, chapter 1. John chapter 19, verse 1.
The book of John, chapter 19 and verse 1. Then Pilate therefore took Hamashiach and scourged him.
Right, because that's what people had brought the Mashiach Yahushua to Pontius Pilate, who was the governor of Israel, during the Roman occupation of our homeland. So they scourged Mashiach Yahushua. You know what? Give me Isaiah 53.
Yes. The book of Isaiah, chapter 53 and verse 5. But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed.
Right, that's the Mashiach Yahushua. This is a prophecy. You can read the whole chapter. And it said this chapter right here, Isaiah chapter 53, from 1 to the end, it's talking about the Mashiach Yahushua and what he had to go through. It's summarizing what the Mashiach Yahushua had to go through, understand, on behalf of Israel, to redeem us back to the Most High. He was scourged, he was wounded for our transgression, wounded to the point of death. Understand, was wounded to the point of death, a fatal wound. He was bruised for our iniquities. He was scourged. The chastisement of our peace. The chastisement of our peace. What is our peace? Our peace with the Mashiach, with the Most High. Yahushua was a reconciliation. He brought that peace between us and the Most High, because there was a war between us and the Most High, which we couldn't win, except for the Mashiach Yahushua intervening on our behalf. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we were healed. With his stripes, the scourging you're reading about right here in John chapter 19. Go back to John 19.
The book of John, chapter 19 and verse 1. Then Pilate therefore took Hamashiach and scourged him.
Scourged him, beat him, whipped him.
And the soldiers plaited a crown of thorns and put it on his head.
A crown of thorns. A thorn is something that's pricked you. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
Pricked you in your skull. That was painful. They were making a mockery of the Most High, and the Mashiach Yahushua. You know?
And they put on him a purple robe and said, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they smote him with their hands.
And they slapped him up, making a mockery of him and slapping him up. Scourged, beating him. Read on.
Pilate therefore went forth again and saith unto them, "Behold, I bring him forth to you, that ye may know that I find no fault in him." Then came Hamashiach forth, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. And Pilate saith unto them, "Behold the man." When the chief priests therefore and officers saw him, they cried out, saying, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Pilate saith unto them, "Take ye him, and crucify him, for I find no fault in him."
Right, so the Jews, man, they want to get rid of Mashiach Yahushua because the Pharisees, the Sadducees, they want to get rid of the Mashiach Yahushua regardless of the fact that he was innocent. Pilate reminded me, I see no fault in the man. But they kept telling Pilate, we want him crucified. Read on.
Verse 7. The Jews answered him, "We have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of the Most High." When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he was the more afraid, and went again into the judgment hall, and saith unto Hamashiach, "Whence art thou?" But Hamashiach gave no answer.
See, the Pilate, upon this Pilate, hey, he was afraid. He knew this man was, for one, he was innocent, and he suspected that he was a Mashiach Yahushua. He was the son of the Most High. He knew this man he wasn't a regular, you know, a regular Jake, or you know, a regular so-called culprit like the two men that was buried with the Mashiach Yahushua. He knew the Jews are being mischievous and evil. The Mashiach Yahushua crucified. Read on.
Verse 10. Then Pilate saith unto him, "Speakest thou not unto me? Knowest thou not?"
So upon this man said, "Whence art thou? You know, where you from? Where you come from?" Mashiach Yahushua didn't answer. Read on, verse 10.
Verse 10. Then Pilate saith unto him, "Speakest thou not unto me? Knowest thou not that I have power to crucify thee, and have power to release thee?"
So you're not going to answer me? Don't you know I got the power to determine whether you live or die? I got the power to crucify you or to set you free. You need to answer me. What did Yahushua say?
Hamashiach answered, "Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above."
Yahushua said, you couldn't have any power at all over me, except the Most High gave you that power. Read.
"Therefore, he that delivered me unto thee hath the greater sin."
Therefore, he that delivered me unto you got the greater sins. You know what I'm talking about? Our own people, the Jews, the Pharisees and Sadducees, the scribes who delivered the Mashiach Yahushua upon this Pilate for the crucifixion. They are the greatest sin. Their sin was greater than that of Pontius Pilate. What do you got?
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 5 and verse 26. "For among my people are found wicked men."
Yeah, I'm telling you. For among the Most High's people are found wicked men. Read on.
"They lay wait as he that setteth snares. They set a trap, they catch men."
They set a trap for you, the snare, the Pharisees, that's all they were doing. The scribes and Pharisees, that's all they were doing, trying to treat the Mashiach Yahushua with those with those questions, the trigger questions. You have to exercise wisdom. To answer those questions that the Pharisees are trying to ask you to trip them up. With that more?
That's it.
Go back to
The book of John, chapter 19 and verse 12. And from thenceforth Pilate sought to release him. But the Jews cried out, saying, If thou let this man go, thou art not Caesar's friend. Whosoever maketh himself a king speaketh against Caesar.
So no, they're acting like they're looking at the Caesar. If you let this man go, you're not Caesar's friend. Anybody making himself king, speaking against Caesar, is they're saying, oh, he's committing treason. That's how much one Mashiach which I crucified. They're gonna pretend that they have so much respect for Caesar. And that they're doing it to show respect for Caesar. When in fact what they're doing is out of hate and jealousy. Because Mashiach Yahushua was speaking against the transgressions.
Verse 13. When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought Hamashiach forth and sat down in the judgment seat in a place that is called the pavement, but in the Hebrew, Gabbatha. And it was the preparation of the Passover.
And it was about the preparation of the Passover. That's what our people celebrated. Understand? Our people didn't celebrate any such thing as Easter. That's something that newly came up during the time of the Romans. Understand? That's something that the Romans incorporated into their festivities to bring the pagans along, to broaden their empire. Understand? On a whole lot did the Most High say we should celebrate Passover? Give me Exodus 12.
Yes, sir.
Exodus 12 verse 16.
The book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse 16. And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation.
The first day of Passover.
And in the seventh day there shall be an holy convocation to you.
The first day, which is the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Read on. And in the seventh day,
there shall be an holy convocation to you.
Which we had yesterday. That was the closing of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. The first day and the seventh day were holy convocations. Read on.
No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat. That only may be done of you.
Right, so no work was supposed to be done in the day of the Passover. Read on.
Verse 17. And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread. For in the selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever.
Right. So that's how long the Most High said we should celebrate the Passover. Throughout our generations, forever. So how is it that back in the so-called back in the days we celebrated the Passover, but now we find ourselves celebrating Easter? We went to conformity to the ways of the world. We're about establishing our own righteousness. You have the zeal for the Most High because what? We want to celebrate something. But we're celebrating, our people are celebrating the wrong thing. Easter. Because that's not something that we got from Israel. Where did the word Easter come from? Go back to ancient Babylonians. Nimrod and his wife, Semiramis, was also known by other names by other nations. Particularly by the Syrians, it was known as what? Ishtar. Understand? And so now the Romans they incorporated the festivities of the ancient Babylonians into their religion. Okay, and changed. By the time that they were ruling, they were the dominant force. So what did they do? They did away with our Passover. And what about establishing Christianity and imposing Christianity on the people, including our people? And we got to recall that the heathens had a custom of imposing the religion in us. Remember the Greeks? When the Greeks, Antiochus Epiphanes, when the time what they call it the Hellenistic period, when they try to impose on when Epiphanes and the Greeks, they issued a decree throughout all the kingdom that all nations should abolish and abandon their way of worship, including Israel. We should abolish our laws and conform to what the Greeks were setting up. We got to.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all.
Right. That's what the Greeks imposed upon us. It was no longer lawful when the Greeks were ruling for us to keep the Sabbath day. So our people had to hide, man. They had to hide and observe the Sabbath. Read on.
Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. So we even had to hide our nationality. We couldn't call ourselves Jews anymore. That's why later on, our people, when you hear them talking about Gentiles, and so because there are two categories of Gentiles. The natural Gentiles, which are people who are not Hebrew Israelites, and also the Israelites who could no longer call themselves Jews, out of fear for the dominant nations, the Romans and the Greeks going back then. And in the process of time, our people got alienated from the Commonwealth of Israel, got discontinued from our heritage, and became known as Gentiles, speaking even the languages of the other nations, Israelites, and also where they were exiled to, or where they were sold into slavery and all that. So that's exactly, that's what happened. Now when the Romans came into rulership now, they tried to do away with they continue this onslaught on Israel of having us alienated from our commonwealth and our heritage. Doing away with Passover. Understand? And incorporating the doctrines of their philosophies of the pagans as a way of including, giving those nations the belief that they are accepted. They are all so-called one umbrella, just like America, which America right now, which consists of so-called melting pot of nations. People of different ethnic groups, different races, and all that. The so-called Americans, but as long as the so-called white man is ruling. The same thing with the Romans. Every nation, part of the empire were Romans. As long as the Romans themselves were ruling. What do you got?
The book of St. verse 8. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions, and they should be partakers of their sacrifices. And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death.
Right, so it was a decree issued by Ptolemy. Yeah. That's Ptolemy, that was the Greek was actually a ruling in Egypt. Understand? Because after Alexander the Greek died, his king was divided amongst his 4 top generals. Understand? Which were given rulership in different territories. So Ptolemy was the Ptolemy? They said?
Yeah, Ptolemy.
He was the one ruling in Egypt, but under the umbrella of the Greeks, really.
Yes, sir.
Even though it was actually Egypt. Go back to
the book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse 17.
Go back to John.
Yes, sir. The book of John, chapter 19 and verse 17 and verse 15. But they cried out, "Away with him! Away with him! Crucify him!" Pilate saith unto them, "Shall I crucify your king?" The chief priests answered, "We have no king but Caesar." Then delivered he him therefore unto them to be crucified. And they took Hamashiach and led him away. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in the Hebrew Golgotha, where they crucified him, and two other with him, on either side, one, and Hamashiach in the midst. And Pilate wrote a title and put it on the cross. And the writing was, "Hamashiach of Nazareth, the King of the Jews." This title then read many of the Jews, for the place where Hamashiach was crucified was nigh to the city. And it was written in Hebrew and Greek and Latin. Then said the chief priests of the Jews to Pilate, "Write not, the King of the Jews, but that he said, I am King of the Jews." Pilate answered, "What I have written, I have written." Then the soldiers, when they had crucified Hamashiach, took his garments and made 4 pots, to every soldier a pot, and also his coat. Now the coat was without seam, woven from the top throughout. The book of John, chapter 19 and verse 24. They said therefore among themselves, "Let us not rend it, but cast lots for it. Whoso it shall be, that the scripture might be fulfilled, which saith, They parted my raiment among them."
Right, yeah, and that was I'm trying to find the scripture about Zechariah. You know one of Zechariah?
Yeah, look at first. I think it's Zechariah chapter 9.
That's why I speak to Zechariah.
Well, no, they said, this is the scripture is referencing. The part of the lads.
Psalm 22 verse 18. The book of Psalm, chapter 22 and verse 18. They part my garments among them, and cast lots for my vesture.
Right. So in the book of Psalms, it was the prophesied that should happen. The part of Moses' Mashagawashai's garment. Read it again.
The book of Psalm, chapter 22 and verse 18. They part my garments among them.
That's what the soldiers did when the Mashiach Yahushua was crucified. They parted the garments amongst them. You know what? They shared his garment. Read on.
And cast lots upon my vesture.
When they cast lots, what they threw dice and they flip the coin, stuff like that. Draw straw. And to see who will get what garment. Read on.
But be not thou far from me, O Most High, O my strength. Haste thee to help me. Hello, do you mind if I read verse 1? Do you mind if I read verse 1?
Go ahead.
The book of Psalm, chapter 22 and verse 1. My power, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me? And from the words of my warring. So basically, pretty much, this psalm is about Mashiach. Meaning that everything that was prophesied to happen to him was already put in the Bible before he was even born.
Right. All those things were prophesied. Because what we see are taking place, what took place right there during the time of his prophecy, during the time of his his crucifixion, all those things were prophesied to take place long before. That's why I said that's why we want to know that he came to play a role.
Yep. The book of Luke, chapter 24 and verse 44. And he said unto them, these are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which was written in the law of Moses, and in the prophets, and in the Psalms concerning me.
Right. In the prophets and in the Psalms concerning the Mashiach Yahushua. Right. Now let's get let's wrap it up with this. Acts chapter, because a lot of people when they see the word Easter in the Bible, see, Easter is in the Bible. What are you talking about? Why do you guys say that there's no such thing as Easter? Easter is something that was incorporated from the pagans.
The book of Acts, chapter 12 and verse 4. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people.
See that? And when they had apprehended him, read it again.
Yes, sir. The book of Acts, chapter 12 and verse 4. And when he had apprehended him,
start on
verse 1.
Yeah, start on verse 1. I get the gist of it.
Yes, sir. The book of Acts, chapter 12 and verse 1. Now, about that time, Herod the king stretcheth forth his hands to vex certain of the church.
See, that's Herod the king was looking to vex, to irritate, to oppress the church. You know?
And he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword.
So he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. Read on.
And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also.
See, he saw that it pleased the Jews. The Jews love that. You see, when they see a disciple or an apostle get killed by the Romans, they love that because the disciples of the prophet and the disciples are preaching against the hierarchy of the Sadducees and scribes and the Pharisees. Right?
Then were the days of unleavened bread.
Then were the what?
The days of unleavened bread.
Then were the days of unleavened bread. What's unleavened bread? See, when the Passover, we know the unleavened bread period is 7 days. Okay, it could be the first up to the last day, which is the 7th day. Okay, but it could be another way of saying the Passover, because the Feast of Unleavened Bread started on the day of the Passover. So then were the days of the unleavened bread. So what did I tell you? we were still celebrating the Passover.
Yeah, yep.
You know?
Verse 4. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to four.
Who did they apprehend?
Peter.
Peter, yeah, well, yeah. When they apprehended Peter, they put Peter in prison, intending that after what?
Intending after Easter.
See, after Easter. So right there, you can see they're using unleavened bread and Easter interchangeably.
Yes, sir.
Understand? So first he said, those were the days of the unleavened bread. Read the part again.
Yes, sir.
Let me go over it again.
Yes, sir. The book of Acts, chapter 12 and verse 4. And when he had apprehended him, he put him.
What I said. Those were the days of unleavened bread.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And because, the book of Acts, chapter 12 and verse 3. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also.
Right. So Herod saw that it pleased the Jews, so he proceeded to apprehend Peter also. You know.
Then were the days of unleavened bread.
Then were the days of unleavened bread. So picture that now. What period of time was this? The days of unleavened bread. During the feast of unleavened bread. That's when it took Peter. Put Peter in prison. Read on.
And when he had apprehended him,
and when it apprehended Peter,
he put him in prison.
He put him in prison.
And delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers.
And delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers.
To keep him.
To keep it, right?
Intending after Easter.
Intending after Easter.
To bring him forth to the people.
To bring him forth after the people. So intending after Easter. Understand? So they use the word unleavened bread, piece of unleavened bread, using the words piece of unleavened bread and Easter interchangeably, meaning what? I'm in the same meaning.
I got you.
So we can see right there that they just transitioning and they're trying to phase out the term Easter and the term Passover and unleavened bread and replace it with Easter. You got something?
Yeah, yes, sir. This is from the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. The word Easter. Easter, Passover. Rendered Easter in Acts 12, verse 4. But correctly translated Passover. The day on which the church celebrates the resurrection of Hamashiach. Easter is celebrated on the first Sunday after the full moon.
Read it again.
Easter, Passover.
Easter, Passover. Understand? We celebrate the Passover. The Romans incorporate the word Ishtar, which is the name of Nimrod's wife. Understand? And Passover we call Easter. But actually, because the pagans were celebrating, they have their own festivities, which they would have at a different time of the year, but they change their festivities to the time of when we keep Feast of Unleavened Bread. Understand that? And then the Romans now have this Easter thing, which is their religion. Understand? Their religion, their festivities, the bunnies and all that, all those things are part of their festivities. And because all those things came from the ancient Babylonians. None of that had anything to do with Israel. So our people ended up now celebrating a custom that was implemented by the Roman Catholic Church instead of us celebrating Passover. Okay, so during the process of time, up until like in 325 AD, that's when Constantine, at the Council of Nicaea, that's when brought about all these things, made these things official.
Yeah, Psalm 119 and verse 104. The book of Psalm, chapter 119 and verse 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way.
Right, the Most High, man, hate every false way. Through the Most High's precept, we get understanding. So we ain't gonna get no understanding following the ways of the other nations, and that conforming to conforming to their way of doing things. So we gotta renew our mind, transform our mind, transform, make a transformation by the renewing of our mind. It's like I read in Romans. What do you got?
Elder, now the Bible says, the psalmist says, through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. Now, Elder, a rabbit is a mammal.
Right.
They give birth to the young, to the younger ones.
Right.
Now, how can a rabbit lay eggs? Now, let us stay on the path of common sense for a moment.
Right.
Because if you go around, you will see many of our people, they have pictures of rabbits at the doorstep with some eggs. How can a rabbit lay eggs, Elder? We know that in biology, in school, rabbits never lay. In fact, if somebody can show us a rabbit that lays eggs before the class ends, you may you may get some money. The elder may give you some money today. Because show me one rabbit that lays at least one egg. So Elder, pretty much we allow the other nations to corrupt us with the nonsense. Yep.
Okay, I found a scripture I was looking for, Zechariah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Zechariah chapter 11.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 11.
And let me see what verse I want to start at. 11:11. Make it 11:11.
Yes, sir. The book of Zechariah, chapter 11 and verse 11. And it was broken in that day, and so the pole of the flock that waited upon me knew that it was the word of the Most High.
Right. So we know that this is the word of the Most High. Read on.
And I said unto them, if ye think good, give me the price.
Read it again.
And I said unto them, if ye think good, give me my price. And if not, forbear. So they weighed for my price 30 pieces of silver. And the other one said unto me, cast it unto the potter, a goodly price that I was prized at of the a goodly price that I was prized at of them. And I took the 30 pieces of silver and cast them to the potter in the house of the Most High.
Right, so this is the prophecy right here of the price that Judas would have been paid by the Pharisees for turning over the Mashiach Yahushua to them. And of course, after Judas got his money, then he had a guilty conscience. We'll try to return the money to the Pharisees, and Pharisees, what's that to do with us? And that's your problem. You're in feelings, you're having regrets, that's your problem. And then what did Judas do? Cast the money to the father's slave. So Ezekiel 37.
The book of Ezekiel.
No, that's not.
Oh, sir. Okay.
So basically, we're going to wrap it up with that. Moses said, conform not to the ways of the world, and transform yourself by the renewing of your mind. So once you come back to your heritage, your true nationality, being a Hebrew Israelites, and establish, righteousness in Israel, according to the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. So the water, Yasharal for logging in, and those in YouTube, Don't forget the Most High willing tomorrow. Chief Minister. The Chief Minister Shalimar will continue the Shabbat service 12 noon tomorrow. Shamash Gawasha. So later on the brothers are going to go to camp. They edify the people with the street teaching. Shamash Gawasha. They're going to say, Amani Wapanya, Yerushalayim, stand and face Jerusalem. Amani Wapanya, Yerushalayim, stand and face Jerusalem. Psalms 133. Shayar, Hama Ailwa, Nadawad, Anna, Ma, Tawab, Wama, Naayam, Shabbat, Akyam, Gam, Yakar, Hashaman, Atawab, Ail, Araash, Yarad, Ail, Azakwan, Zakwan, Haaran, Shayarad, Ail, Paya, Marawat Yawa, Katal, Karamwan, Shayarad, Al, Araria, Tazayawan, Kaya, Sham, Tazawa, Yahawa, Af, Abaraka, Kayawam, Ail, Iwalam, Ba'asham, Amashiyah, Yahweh, Dawada, Aman.
The book of Psalm chapter 133. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that went down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Most High commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahawashai, Thawada, Thamyad,
The water bar Shamash Gawasha.
Yeah.
Don't forget tomorrow, again in Israel, tomorrow at 12 noon, Chief Minister Shalimar is going to continue the Shabbat service. Don't forget to log in at 12 Eastern. Okay? By Shamash Gawashai.
Oh yeah, Pentecost is May 16th. Where is the video?